Another day, another video. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we are watching Teen Wolf. This episode 2 of season 6. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the first episode of this season. Really interesting. The Wild Hunt has arrived. The Ghost Riders. And what they seem to do is take people, but when they do take them, the memories, everybody's obviously knowledge of their existence disappears. So we started the episode with 2 people being taken, and there was a little kid called Alex that was left in the back of a car. And when Scott went into his head to look into his memories, we seen obviously what happened. They was driving, they went down a road, there was a guy sat on a horse right in front of them, pulled out a gun, shot the windscreen, dragged the dad out, ripped the door off, dragged the mum out, and took them away. Obviously, this Alex is confused. He don't know what's going on. He's obviously been found by Hayden and Liam, and they've took him to the police station. Scott's done the head dive, obviously realised what's going on. They've gone to his house, tried to investigate, more into this. And when he was there, every single room empty. Cobwebs all over. Looks like it's an abandoned building. Nobody living there. When they go into one of the bedrooms, very interesting, the room is fully done like a normal kid's room, yet all of the house is pretty much empty and looks like it's abandoned. Now inside this room there's pictures and stuff like that, and he's got like number 1 dad, and when they look at it they could just see Alex. Nobody else is there. The parents, like I said, have been wiped from existence. It seems like when the Ghost Riders take them, everybody forgets. Scott's gone downstairs to investigate more. Stiles has stayed in the bedroom. He's looked under the bed because he heard something, seen 2 horses' legs, stood up, no one's there. He's panicking. He walks into the corridor and a Ghost Rider is stood right there. He takes a gun out. He shoots at Stiles. He obviously doesn't hit him, but he hits the door behind him. Scott runs upstairs, see what's going on. Obviously, Stiles has just explained. We see the repercussions of this later in the episode because as we get towards the very end, Stiles is trying to speak to people. Nobody's remembering who he is. He went over to Liam, Hayden, Mason. He was like, do we even know this guy? He ran over to his dad. They're investigating a death that's in the school. And he's like, son, are you okay? And he's like, oh, thank God, mate. Literally, you remember it. He gives him a hug. When he stands away, Noah says to him, what's your name? And he's like, what the hell, mate? Luckily for him, currently, the only person that can remember him is Lydia. She's been having a discussion with Malia, and she's saying, look, mate, Stiles. Malia's like, Stiles? I don't even know who that is. She's like, mate, I need to go and get him. She ran after him. She found him outside. Stiles was like, thank God you remember you. You're the only person. You need to tell everybody else. Ghost Riders turn up. They start cornering him. They try to run off. He's telling her not to look at them because he thinks that's how they get, obviously, taken. But no, mate. They get inside his Jeep, they corner all of the car. He tells Lydia that he needs her to remember him. He's going to be taken, and, he needs her to consistently try and work, think in the back of her mind, know that he's always loved her, and he still does, and he needs her to bring him back. Then Stiles is taken, and he's gone. Lydia walks into the school the next day, stands there. Scott's like, are you okay? She's like, yeah. I feel like, I'm supposed to remember something. I'm supposed to do something, but it's gone out of my head. And then we kind of finish. So it's really interesting. Do you know what I mean? Like, these Ghost Riders are coming, they're taking people are forgetting. What realm are they going to? Where did he disappear? Stiles has been taken, so is Alex, so is his 2 parents. Are they going to reunite wherever they get taken to? And how is this spark going to get Lydia to remember who Stiles is, and how they're going to, bring him back? Are they going to go after attack one of these Ghost Riders to get information? Who knows, mate, but it is very interesting. And it was a bunch of them as well. There was like at least 4 or 5, so really exciting stuff. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode as well. If you do, please smash the like, really helps out the channel. Subscribe if you do, and as always, let's jump into episode 2 of season 6 of Teen Wolf. That was a good transition. So they just ran past them and they can't see them. That is well interesting.
Did you feel that? You gotta work on your back shots.
They've been practicing.
I've been thinking of someone else.
He's thinking of Stiles.
How is this supposed to work? The ferromagnetic properties are going to interact with... Don't worry, it works. Just make sure that all the iron oxide is completely absorbed. Dying didn't exactly help your GPA. So, I don't know, all you need is just a little help. It worked.
What the hell are you guys doing?
Extra credit?
Extra credit? At 9 o'clock at night. Your teenage years are not the time for
I love this
academic
teacher.
achievement.
Yes, they are.
That is a lie sold to you by the government. Get out of here. Go wreak some havoc like the other kids.
Oh, I love him, man. What a character.
My phone. I think I left it upstairs.
I wonder what's going to happen to one of these. Do you reckon he's going to see them? I'm trying to figure out. So when they're around, like, the hands on the clock and the compass, they all mess about. Don't move. I literally wouldn't move. Oh. Oh. Oh, who's that? Wow. So they didn't see him. They didn't see Cora. Whoa, that's really interesting, that, because, you know, so far we've found out, well, not found out, but what we've seen is the people have been able to see these Ghost Riders. They're the ones that kind of get taken. So if you've seen last episode, when Styles and Lydia was together, Styles could see them, Lydia couldn't. Styles was taken, Lydia wasn't. Do you know what I mean? And Lydia and everybody's forgot. Now, what's interesting is, it looked like they was coming after Corey then. And then he's just, boom, turned invisible against the wall. Tex Mason said they're here. But when he said they're here, how does he know who he's referencing if Styles has been forgotten? Do you know what I mean? That's interesting, because they surely wouldn't remember the encounter of Styles being attacked in the house by the Ghost Rider if they can't remember Styles is a person at all. So that's one interesting one. But they've come in, mate. They've got somebody else. I was going to say, I'm assuming supernatural, but maybe not, because I don't think that that Alex and his parents were anything to do with the super... And Styles isn't as well, yeah. So maybe they don't even go after the supernatural. Maybe they just go after normal people. But it's interesting that he was in midair, and obviously from one point of view, you're just seeing him floating, and from a second point of view, like in the greenness of his invisibility, you could see them, and they had the whip around his neck and tightened, and then it obviously like pinged, and he just evaporated. So again, it's really interesting because Mason and Corey did see them then.
What's wrong? Something's happening to Mason.
Oh.
Two of them were right up there. And we only saw them when we turned invisible.
They didn't seem to care about us.
And they just jumped down and left.
Missing out the part where they had a kid. Oh, they forgot him.
Hey, someone?
They forgot
Nobody
him.
else in here? It was just us.
That was, wow. Kinda not used to sleeping.
You thinking what's going on, mate?
Are those chains?
It's nothing.
She's trying to fill the void of Styles, which she doesn't know that's the void that she's trying to fill. Do you know what I mean? She's missing him. She's obviously with somebody else. And he's normally the small spoon, isn't he, mate? She's usually the big spoon, and he loves it. Do you remember that episode when he was struggling to get asleep, and then obviously she turned around and cuddled him? He's like, yeah, that's better.
Do you see him?
Whoa.
Lydia, what's wrong?
There's the sound of a train passing through my room.
It just must have been a bad dream.
But I wasn't asleep.
But I wasn't asleep. I thought she was. Something's missing there, look. Oh, see, it's like it's fell off. Do you reckon it's just going to be Scott and a disappearing person next to him, like a big picture that makes no sense? It would make sense, that, to be honest. He's a bit far away, but middle one there, mate. Styles is gone. Is that Styles' locker one or something?
Mr. McCall's selfish desire to focus on his grades. We are leaderless. Definitely not captain material there, Dunbar.
No, he has anger problems, doesn't he? He's had it under control recently, but...
I can't stop thinking about last night.
Either.
We only saw them because of your power. What if you have some kind of special ability no one knows about?
And the Ghost Riders were up there? I think they were holding something.
What if they weren't holding something with someone?
You're smart, Mason. He does seem to get a lot of things right, doesn't he, when he's working with them?
Why can't you stay captain? I'm graduating. You know, I'm not gonna be here next year. Somebody's gotta step up and fill in the gap. Well, Coach doesn't want me. I don't know if the team wants me. It's not up to them. It's up to you. You have to want this.
That's why you're the captain, though.
That's what I'm talking about, Paul. That's exactly the intensity this team needs.
Style. And what other words that is short? She highlights well with.
It's not me.
I already told you, Lydia. I don't give extra credit for alternate equations based on your own theoretical findings.
Okay, then.
Has he seen his locker as well? Spends a lot of time here. At 1075, is it? Imagine that was his code actually to open it up. 1075. Yo, why is he a doctor there?
What are you doing in this class?
Well, that was interesting. And it's kind of interesting as well what Scott, you know, Lydia was at Stiles' locker and Scott was at Stiles' locker. And it's like, you can take away a memory, but you can't take away habits. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, you may forget who Stiles is, but, like, you would know if you had a certain thing. So, say, like, you went to the cinema every Wednesday, you and your best mate, every Wednesday you went to the cinema. You would know that that was an action that you'd done consistently. But then, obviously, if your friend disappeared, you wouldn't remember that you'd be going with them, but you would still know that you was going to the cinema. And then as you was going, you'd be thinking, do I come here alone all the time? Like, surely I come with someone. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is what I was saying about the team, yeah? That, like, okay, he's disappeared and people will forget him, but, like, the team has a certain amount of numbers. Now, I don't know what it is in lacrosse, but just saying football, you have 11 starting people on the field. And if one disappeared, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you had to start the game, you'd have 10, and you'd be like, where is this player? Do you know what I mean? Like, who is this one? And it would just raise it like that, an empty seat in the class, you know, a locker that you usually stand by. It raises questions like, whose is that? Whose is that? Who should be playing there? And obviously she's reading the books and she sees the name Style. She's highlighted it in red as if to say, is this something that I know or something that's confusing? You know what I mean? I'll look into this even more.
You want to see the absentee list?
Yes.
May I ask why?
Werewolf stuff.
I thought I made it clear that Beacon Hills High School was a dedicated safe space.
But we think someone could be missing, and they could be in danger.
Remember, safe space. Now, go back to class.
Oh, it's dark outside now.
Come on, come on.
Whoa, look at this. Oh.
What were you doing?
Trying to remember.
I'm a harbinger of death, not a harbinger of kidnapping. He was bludgeoned to death and stuffed in a high school air duct. And I already have your statement.
Scott can just break that, but he's wondering whose is it?
What you doing?
Nothing. Just checking out this locker. Yeah, no, I'm not breaking into someone else's locker.
What does it look like to you?
I'm breaking
Looks
in.
like I'm breaking into someone else's locker.
Yeah. They must have had someone up there. I mean, that's the only logical explanation. Corey just wants to help.
And why was he loyal to Theo for so long? I'll trust him when he does something trustworthy. But I can hear his heart racing from across the room.
It's always there, mate. It's always there.
You forgave her, no problem. She almost died that night trying to stop Sebastian.
All Corey can do is disappear.
He didn't mean it in a bad way.
Maybe that's what he should do.
How is he supposed to trust you if you're hiding in the walls?
I already told you. Your friends aren't my friends.
The thing is, right, he is always hiding in the walls around them, though. So he is sketchy in that aspect. Do you know what I mean? Like, when Scott was out cold and he was downstairs in his house trying to come up with a plan, yeah? Scott come down and he said something. He said, why don't we ask Corey? We don't know where he is. Yeah, he's just here. Boom. The guy was just stood next to the wall. Like, he's always there, just hiding, not doing anything. So, like, I understand where Liam is coming from, like, in the aspect of, yeah, Hayden was there, but she fought, she helped, she was on their side. Like, he didn't really do anything, and he was kind of, to be honest, though, he did say to Mason that he was on nobody's side. He was on the side of living. Do you know what I mean? What's the point in having these powers if you're just going to pick a side and die? So, whatever side's winning and living, that's the side he's on. He did say that to him, so it's going to be interesting to see.
I took that from a windshield at the sheriff's impound lot, but I can't remember why I was there. You think this is all connected? The Ghost Riders, the Wild Hunt, the holes. It's almost like you have a form of phantom limb syndrome. Amputees can have the sensation of an itch they can't scratch. So my subconscious is trying to tell me what's missing. How the hell do I figure out what it's saying?
The easiest way to do that would be to simply go to sleep.
Christmassy episode. I used to love them in the Vampire Diaries and the originals. That was the best ones. I reckon he's kind of like waking up into the first night that he was bitten from Peter. That would be interesting. He said that the best way to do it is to dream. Now, I'm not going to say that's not correct, but I'm going to counter it and say the best way to realise what it is that's missing is to carry on living your normal day-to-day life. Because, like I was mentioning before, yeah, you have a routine, you have stuff that you continuously do. And at one point, it'll clog. So, for example, he gave an example that people who no longer have limbs, so like if you have an arm that's cut off and amputated, sometimes the person's brain will feel like it's itchy and they haven't even got it. It's no longer there. It's the same with a watch. I don't know if you wear a watch, but I wear a watch, and if I take it off, and like throughout the day, I'll always be walking and I'll go to like feel it, or I'll go to look at the time and I'm not wearing it. And like throughout that day, I keep looking at my watch and it's not there. And when I look at it, I'm thinking, oh, my watch isn't there. Oh, my watch isn't there. And that's because I'm doing a natural thing that I'm constantly doing on a day-to-day thing. And once I do an action and I realise that it's different, I'm like, oh, watch. You know what I'm saying? So like Scott, if he lives his normal day-to-day stuff like he's been doing, walking past the locker, doing this activity, doing that, why did I go to get that glass? You know what I mean? Soon he'll do something and it'll be, oh, I used to do this for Styles. Do you know what I mean? Like his memory's not completely wiped. Just keep living, keep doing, keep being active, keep being normal, and you'll find yourself in a situation where you realise that you usually do this with somebody else. Oh, look at this, mate. She's in the corner. See, Jackie, she's wondering who usually chains her up.
Hello?
Over here.
This is an after-school club.
I'm growling at people in class. I'm clawing at my desk. I tried turning the floor of my bedroom into a coyote den. For the lake house, this is where I'd come for the full moon. But you weren't down here with me. Scott wasn't down here with me.
Who was?
Who was?
See, it's what I was saying, mate. Normal day-to-day stuff, you'll start remembering.
Scott.
I went to bed at home, and I woke up out in the woods, about a mile out. It was the beginning of sophomore year, the night before tryouts for first line. I remember because it was all that I could think about.
What were you doing?
I was looking for a dead body. Dean said that my subconscious is trying to tell me something. I live 5 miles away from here. How did I get here? I was hiding, but they knew that I was here.
Scott, you out there?
Why would the sheriff even think that I would be out here? I wasn't a werewolf yet, and I wasn't out here alone.
Oh, do you know what? It makes me happy that what I was just saying there is kind of coming true. That they're all just kind of living the normal day, so to speak, things. And they're all coming to the conclusion that there's something absent, you know. So, I mean, it's good. It makes sense. The way they've done it, they've not gone too crazy. They've just done it, I think, perfectly, to be honest.
I just wanted to tell you I was wrong. I thought we could hate each other and it wouldn't matter. But it does matter. We could work together. Maybe we could find something together. Like a trace of them.
I think I had a best friend, and I think he was out here with me that night.
I know that someone chained me up, and I think they wanted me to stay human.
I came to school this morning and I was sure I was supposed to meet someone.
What if we're all missing the same person?
He was sitting right there.
Look at Malia smiling, that picture.
Want to do this? Hold my hand. Wow.
Why does a hospital need helium in the first place?
It's for heliox therapy. It's mostly used for respiratory injuries caused by fires or explosions.
Nice work, Parrish.
Oh, and your wife's waiting for you in your office.
What?
Wife.
I thought I'd surprise you.
Wait, the fuck's going on here? Is that Styles' mum? Did she die? What is going on there, mate? He didn't even act surprised. Are we in the right timeline? I don't know, man. Let's just... That's confusing.
If it's a book, we'll be here a while.
Liam should put his claws in the back of his head. Oh.
Do you see that? Do you still see the car?
No.
It's gone. Can you see it now?
Whoa, that's well interesting, mate.
It's quinoa. Quinoa and kale.
Oh, that's
Healthy.
Well, I want you around for a long, long time.
That's what Styles says, isn't it? When he's trying to eat burger and chips. There it is. That's interesting, that, mate. I want to know, is this happening or not?
It wasn't there until you saw it. Then it became real. It's Schrodinger's cat, a quantum state of superposition. To see something is to change its very existence.
The guy who gets taken. Yeah.
He was in the physics lab last night.
Yo, you can see the card now. They've remembered him and now it's there. Wow, that's interesting. My head scrambles, mate. Science is mad, isn't it, mate? He just said they changed the realm of quantum physics or something. Mate, you need to speak in 2-year-old terms to me when we're going through this show, because I will not be following along. But what was interesting is it looked like as soon as we remembered him, visual and his, you know, like his face come back. He said it was just a blank card a second ago, and then boom, swiped. I remember we have Spanish. He was in the class last night. Now it's a full card with his ID on it. So that means that everybody else, surely, like, does everybody else remember him now? Do you know what I'm saying? Because if everything was wiped, now he's remembered once here and his card's here, does that mean that all the pictures that he was in and everybody that knew him now does remember him, and he's going to be like, where's he gone? So that means that the first time that somebody remembers where Styles has disappeared, do you know what I mean? Styles. Then they all remember and he comes back in the picture. His dad remembers his son's missing and X, Y, and Z, and it steamrolls ahead. Do you know what I'm saying?
I want to start the team captain.
It's too late. I said end of the day.
You didn't say end of school day.
What changed your mind?
I held the guy's hand.
I totally get it.
The silence, the darkness, and the light will allow you to find a more comfortable, relaxed, trance-like state. I want you to stare into the light and let go of all thought. The legend has always been that the wild hunt takes people. You're telling me is right. The truth is much worse. How did we remember somebody who's been completely erased from our minds?
Well, it's not been completely removed, have they? What's she writing here? Like a full-on book?
Is she okay?
What does mischief mean?
It's not what she wrote.
Yo, that is sick, mate.
What the hell is this, Styles?
What the hell is a Styles? You know what's funny is when you first hear his name, you think, ah, that's a pretty crap name. And then, like, I think it's a good name. Do you know what I mean? It's like one of the things, right? Once you get used to it, more and more you start doing something or hearing it, you think decent. Like, his name is good, mate. Styles. I like it. And that was sick how she wrote Styles then, but, like, she used the words mischief, but she wrote it, obviously, in the shape of the letters. STILES, mate. There, it was decent. Now, it was interesting listening to their conversations when he was in the woods, because Malia was like, somebody used to chain me up. Scott was like, I feel like I had a best friend. And Lydia said, I feel like I was in love with them. It's interesting, because up until last season, midway through, Styles was with Malia and never with Lydia. And then, because of all this craziness that was going on, they kind of drifted apart and they kind of went independent. Do you know what I mean? She had this stuff going on with her mum, and obviously Styles had all the other stuff going on with Donovan. And then if you look at it, they drifted kind of apart. Towards the end of the season, Styles and Lydia kind of got closer together because he was trying to save her. He didn't want anything to happen to her. Obviously, his feelings from the past started obviously coming back to the front. She's realising that she likes him, but she was kind of with Parrish. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not strange. It isn't strange, because it's kind of been the relationship between them. It was kind of willy wonky the first 2 seasons, halfway through season 3 until Malia comes, so to speak. And then, obviously, they've kind of gone their own ways, and she's kind of gone in that one, he's gone in this way. And if they ended up together, it would be okay. But, like, considering how, I don't know, how fast we would have kind of, like, tripped from Lydia and Jordan and Styles and Malia to boom, final season, them together, it is interesting. But, you know, she's remembering, not totally wiped from existence. Like I was been saying constantly in the episode, the more you live your normal life, the more the stuff that you standardly normally do will start helping you remember. You do certain things here and there. You usually do it with a companion. You usually have somebody else on your team. Who's that person who sits next to me in class? Who used to chain me up? Do you know what I mean? Whose locker's that I used to stand here? All these different things will end up raising questions, and you will obviously hopefully find the answers. Now, the teacher seen Scott trying to break into the locker, but my question is, or my thing that I'm just going to say, like, is that teacher has got to play a factor, because yes, we had a class and he was in there, but to be honest, the factor that he might have played is the equation that Mason has just displayed in the library about the card. You know, he was saying it's kind of like the cat, and that was kind of like the teacher in his class. He was saying when does something that's not real become real? It's like when you see it and find it or something, you change the quantum physics. I don't know. It's way more advanced than my knowledge. But they did tie it into his class. But I was just trying to think, why did he interrupt Scott at the locker? You know what I mean? Like, why did it have to be him? Or why did anyone have to interrupt him? You know, so it's interesting. I don't know if he's going to play, obviously, a bit of the story later down into the season, but that was interesting. But it's good that we end in the episode. I know it's only been one episode with Styles missing, but, you know, Styles not in the full episode, and we don't want that, do we? We don't want continuous episodes with Styles not even being present. So one's enough. They can realise that they're missing him now, and now going forward, we could try and get him back. And that is going to wrap up today's episode. Thank you so much for checking out the channel today. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. Very interesting, mate, honestly. So, obviously, we ended the episode with them remembering who or what is the Styles. The name is back, and obviously they're going to try and, well, look more into it into the next one. What I thought was really interesting, though, is Styles' dad has got a wife in the present now. That is very fascinating. It didn't act like he was shocked when she was there. She brought him lunch, kind of like our Styles does, you know. She gave him quinoa and kale. He didn't like it. And I was like, mate, you know, that's what Styles used to do, not letting him have his burger and chips. And then, boom, mate, she took it away when obviously he wasn't happy. Whipped out a burger and chips. The guy loves it. So what's interesting is he's got a wife. It just is, mate. That was just like a curveball out of the blue. Didn't know what was going on, me. But Jordan, he's back in the season. I like it. I liked him last one, and I did want him back into the finale, well, the final season. So it's good that he's here, and hopefully he's got a good storyline coming. But, you know, Malia trying to chain herself up didn't work, you know. She's thinking, who usually does this? She said that she was in a room trying to make like a coyote den. She's found herself in class, you know, claws coming out. She's growling at people. It's usually Styles that keeps her under control, keeps her calm. So that's interesting. Lydia, she's hearing trains. You know, we can't forget that. Yes, she went outside. She kind of like relived the motion of last episode when she ran, she come outside and Styles was there and she was moving, you know, when she was running and we couldn't see Styles, and then she went back into the present and nearly walked into the road. Very, very interesting. That was her way of starting to remember, you know, what was going on. She was saying that she come to school today and she thought that she was supposed to meet somebody and she can't remember who it was. Scott was saying, look, mate, I found myself in the woods after dreaming. This is the night I was first bit. Why was I here? I was 5 miles away from my house. I wasn't supernatural yet. You know, my mum wasn't working that night, so I didn't know that there was a body. Somebody must have been with me. I felt like I had a best friend. He's obviously got his picture. He stood on the pin, and absent person in the middle. He was like, look, I feel like that's where our friend, well, should be. Another interesting thing is obviously Mason, he's got a boyfriend, Corey. Liam's not a big fan of him. Kind of blames him for what happened with Theo last season. Corey's obviously like on the defense, so to speak. He's like, mate, you quit to forgive Hayden, but not me. He's saying, yeah, but Hayden ended up turning on Theo and ended up fighting with us, not against us, where you've always been kind of like on the fence and you're always like hiding in the walls, listening, not really helping. So that was interesting. But then he come to Liam later on in the day. He was like, look, mate, you know, I thought that we could get along. You not liking me not liking you, and you could just be friends with Mason and I could go out with him. But that clearly can't happen. So we need to kind of be a team together. Maybe I can help you and you can help me. You can work as, you know, as a team to try and obviously figure out what's going on with Ghost Riders. And he was like, okay, fine, let's do it. Hold my hand. And he did, mate. And he went into the library. They was there. They relived kind of like a vision of what him and Mason saw earlier on in the episode. And that was the Ghost Riders having somebody in, you know, suspended in midair, and they couldn't see him, could they, mate? The total memory wiped. They could see the riders, not the person, because boom, mate, wherever they sent him, they obviously all forgot. So they was kind of looking, thinking, what's going on? Key card, they found it. This card, they swiped it, they've got a name. Now they've got a name, they've got a memory. He was in this class, he was in this class. The card's no longer blank, it's a full ID. So again, it's really interesting. It seems like as soon as you remember who somebody is, everything comes back into place. So it's going to be interesting to see, because this is the first person that we're seeing that's been taken, that's been remembered. So what happens to him wherever he's disappeared to? But like I said, we need to focus in on Lydia here in the trains. Maybe that's where Styles been taken, gone, put, who knows. But it's exciting. And like I said, he's only been out of one episode, and I'm fine with that. I don't want him to be out of all of the season, because he's clearly one of the best characters. So let's see where we go. Hopefully we can bring him back. Hopefully we can remember him, and hopefully hopefully we can see him on the other side trying to get out, because surely he knows who he is and he's trying to obviously exit as well. So it's going to be exciting. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please smash the like, it really helps out the channel. Subscribe if you're new. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, guys.